Hi kids, I'm Miss Jen, and welcome back to the Kids Table. Have you guys ever gone camping before? That's one of my favorite activities to do, and it's starting to warm up, and this gets me excited for camping season. What do we sleep in when we go camping? Most people? A tent, right? So this story that I'm going to tell you today comes from the book of Acts, and it has two characters. One person's name is Priscilla, and the other person's name is Aquila. Now, Priscilla and Aquila used to live in Rome, but they got kicked out. They got the boot. They said, oh, if you're Jewish, you have to leave this area. So they had to leave everything behind and come to a new area where they were allowed to be. Well, Aquila and Priscilla were tent makers. So they worked hard building and making tents. Well, while they were making tents and on their journey in their new city, along came a man named Paul. Now, Paul was also a tent maker, and he met them. They let him join in with making tents with them. Not only did they invite him into the tent making, but they also let Paul live with them. And they learned so much about Jesus during that time. Paul lived with them not just a year, but like 18 months. And all they had was this little tent to live in. So they didn't have a lot of space, but they still welcomed him in. They learned so much about Jesus while Paul was with them. He shared all about him. So Priscilla and Aquila had started a church in their own home, and they invited people into their house. One of the great qualities about Priscilla is that she had the gift of hospitality. So hospitality is super important. When we invite someone into our home and make a meal with them or share a meal with them and lets them come into a special part of our lives. Our house is kind of our sanctuary and our safe place to be. So having the generosity of feeding others and letting people in their homes was quite a remarkable thing that Priscilla did. Another thing that Priscilla did was she taught other people about Jesus in her home while she was feeding them. So they kind of started a church just like we have. So they did that in their own homes, welcomed up their hearts to people. What's really cool about the Bible is in Bible days, they always started with the guy's name first. But in this particular story, they started with Priscilla's name most of the time. They talked about her. So she must have been super important in this story, maybe even more important than her husband, which was unheard of back then. The women just had to kind of be quiet and not speak as much, but I don't really think that's what God and Jesus intended, because women are awesome. They can do so many things, and Priscilla is an amazing example of that. So just remember that you can do big things too, and that God can use you in his own special way, no matter if you're who you are, who you love, and what you look like. You're important, just like Priscilla. I'll see you next time at the Kids Table. Bye. Did you like that, Priscilla? You were the star. She's waving bye.